Mr. Speaker, remember back in 2008, if listening to Labour, one would have thought the sky was going to fall in.
Yes.
One would have thought bad employers were going to be named and shamed.
Yes.
And all because, Mr. Speaker, we introduced an optional 90-day trial period for new employees and small businesses.
What happened?
Nothing radical, just moderate, more in line with international trends and international jurisdictions. Mr. Speaker, we thought hard about it. It was thoughtful. It was moderate. We built in protections. We built in protections of good faith. We built in protections that it was only by agreement. We built in protections that discrimination and harassment rights would be retained. We enabled mediation to be available. We built in protections. And, Mr. Speaker, in the nearly past 18 months, what has happened? Has the sky fallen in? No, Mr. Speaker, the sky has not fallen in. Has the trial period been abused? Because actually, Mr. Speaker, if it had been abused, we would want to know about it so that when we are drafting and crafting the amendments now, we could add in more protections if need be. But, Mr. Speaker, there's not evidence of abuse. There's not evidence of exploitation of workers. Nobody has been named and shamed. Actually, the opposition to the 90-day trial has been made mute, Mr. Speaker. Mute. Well, actually, because what has happened, Mr. Speaker, is good news. The sky has not fallen in. Neither Labour nor the unions, who actually were very vociferous at the time, have been able to demonstrate that the 90-day trial period is not working. They have not been able to demonstrate that the 90-day trial period is not working.
It did work.
It works. They have not been able to demonstrate that it is not fair. They have not been able to demonstrate that it is not fair because it is fair. They have not been able to demonstrate that it is not reasonable because it is reasonable. Because actually, Mr. Speaker, it is working. It is fair. It is reasonable. It is working. It has given businesses more confidence in admittedly difficult economic times to take on workers they would not otherwise have taken on. The department report, as we know, Mr. Speaker, highlights that 40% of employers would not have taken on employees except for the 90-day trial period. It has given workers, Mr. Speaker, it has given workers, especially those on the margins who perhaps don't have an employment record, perhaps don't have qualifications, perhaps are new to the country, it has given them the opportunity to say, actually, give me a go, give me a go, and back themselves. They back themselves to actually prove themselves and to get their foot in the employment door. Mr. Speaker, I went to our local refugee migrant centre in Christchurch and I said to them, what is their biggest challenge? And they said, getting their migrants to actually have a job. And I said, well, actually, do you use the 90-day trial? But no, Labour have scaremongered so much. And they actually said, oh, well, that would be good because our migrants don't have a job record. They actually don't speak English that well. They don't know really what to expect, but they would love the opportunity to be given a try. They would love that opportunity to get their foot in the employment door. But because of the scaremongering, some of them have not been given that opportunity. But this policy, Mr. Speaker, is good policy. It hasn't resulted in a fire at will. It's a hiring policy. It's given more confidence in hiring. We want people to have jobs, Mr. Speaker, and this 90-day trial regime is one of the tools in the toolkit to get more people into jobs. It is not radical stuff, Mr. Speaker. It is not radical. It is reasonable. It is moderate. And it is actually bringing us more in line with our other international jurisdictions, which actually are a lot tougher. And the success of it is actually one of the reasons why we are extending it and extending the opportunity to all businesses. If we look at other jurisdictions, Mr. Speaker, the UK have 12-month trial period. 12 months. Under a Labour government, 12 months. What do we have? 90 days. 3 months. A third of what the UK has. Similarly, Australia have 12 months under a Labour government. And what do we have? We have 3 months. Mr. Speaker, this is good policy.
The Honourable David Parker.